This came into essence of boredom and an essence of agitation because we all know the glorious, amazing, absolutely prestigious Four Horsewomen. They treat it like it's a faction, but I think they try to treat it as a pseudo revolution. All because we're just going to reference NXT Takeover Brooklyn. They all made their debuts and had the most forgettable women's title reigns that you would rather get the female version of Santina to hold the Divas and Women's Championships than whatever in the hell the Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley were doing for the past like 5 years since they came to the main roster. One became a 10-time women's champion. One like two of the four of them won Royal Rumbles for the females. Oh God, most of them main evented Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and still no buzz because they are boring, disinteresting pieces of horse schlop orchestrated over the company so they can wow the feminists. And it's so brutal that people just want to prestige them up because they're literally the only talkable women on the roster. Even though like people like Amber Moon, Lacey Evans, the Iconics, Mandy Rose. Even though I don't like her that much, Sonya Deville. Plenty of talent in the female roster that get underutilized for minute roles, either for relationship feuds or the most forgettable things ever. I've and Liv Morgan. No one cares about Ruby Riott. It's that. Is it that hard? And we want Horseface the Mask. Like Bayley looks like the spider from Courage the Cowardly Dog, the white one. I know, no, from some kids' TV show involving bugs. That's what Bayley's face looks like. And that monkey, and that female from Space Chimps. No one really cares about Bayley. They are rating killers. They don't do anything. They come orchestrating that they are the most prestigious and dominant women's tag division when you are literally defending your women's tag belts to minor leaguers. You are beating people from NXT, a developmental program. You're not beating the top of the line wrestlers. What part of that makes you prestigious? What part of any of this actually gets WWE to become sort of mainstream? In the sense that you guys have the most forgettable ways to building up female stars I've seen in your life, and you just rip off male gimmicks to actually get these women over. Really? Stone Cold Steve Austin? The man. Becky Lynch. Ric Flair? Charlotte Flair. But that's at least off her chip over her shoulder because she's actually born from the guy. And just Sasha Banks in general, obviously ripping off Eddie Guerrero. And then we have Bayley, that's just ugly. She looks like a crescent moon with eyeshadow. It's and the wrestling style just comes into near fall, inconsistent finishing makeups, and just a slight chance that they might have a watchable match out of the 27 that these women always wrestle each other every freaking year. No sense of this sounds mytholic or have any storylines intense other than them coming from NXT. What part of Bayley that of Becky Lynch that you actually like other than she accidentally got sucker punched for real by Nia Jax? She was literally must watch because she turned heel once, and then later after that, she didn't do nothing except still lose to Charlotte Flair until she got sucker punched in her face by Nia Jax before Survivor Series of 2018. And then the only reason that she was building up relevancy at that point, because Ronda Rousey was in the company. Everybody cared about Ronda Rousey in the company. No one cared about Becky Lynch winning both of the belts. I wanted it to be Ronda. Then she comes busting her shoulder on the middle of the triple threat match. No one cares. You have Charlotte that has the most forgettable 10 times, becoming one of the most forgettable 10-time champions in history. And they want to borderline stick it up as she's like one of the most, she's the most top girls. Who did she get over? You're 10-time women's champion. In under a decade. That makes no sense. And in half a decade, she already is a 10-time women's champion. It's that forgettable. It's because she looks like a WNBA star kicking the shit out of women that are like 5'3". It's not that. It's and it really shows no semblance of anything because other than just showing that she has a chip over her chip on her shoulder, there's no character in Charlotte Flair. All she does is spirit people, and the biggest thing is a difference is she used to finger for a leg lock, but that's a handstand. Sure, that's harsh coming from me. I obviously have nothing personal against Charlotte Flair. I hope all these women do successful and live a long life. I just don't care about Charlotte Flair. And Bayley is one of the weaker links of this entire thing. Because they want to try to bring up some semblance that she's a great wrestler when she literally gets carried off by 3 of the 4 horsewomen. What's really the most memorable match that you remember from Bayley? Remember your life segments? Her takeover match that was like she did a Frankenstein, like a Hurricane Rana from the top rope, and it got a 3 count. Her finishing move was a belly to belly, and there wasn't much of a storyline other than she's just happy to be there, and just ruined her smile, and then she just awkwardly turned heel like last year. There's really nothing interesting about Bayley. There's nothing really interesting about Sasha Banks in general, and they keep shoehorning these women in like there's something really sellish to this point. I understand I'm getting a lot of flack for this, but you gotta understand, no one really cares about the Four Horsewomen. And it's telling from the ratings, it's telling from the fan base, it's telling from the lack of searching that no one cares. Other than the only peak of interest that people got from Charlotte was she had breast implants. And she's out of TV because Andrade keeps sucking them too hard. I don't really care that Charlotte is in the main event scene of Monday Night Raw because nobody's tuning in. No one cares. Literally record-breaking losses of at least under the 2s. If this was 2006, somebody must have been dead. If Monday Night Raw rocked under 2 million viewers per episode. It has nothing to do with the pandemic, because that means a lot of people are able to tune in. That's no excuse. What are they busy doing? Going outside? It's the dumbest thing. What's really appealing for children to get a she-male of midget ginger, Hispanic ragdoll, and a horse? There's nothing really interesting about these women. And they keep shoehorning it in. They kept stuffing Becky Lynch all over her face. Even over her pregnancy. Congrats. But 3 previews of like such an iconic and the most dominant Raw Women's Champions because they have nobody else to give it to. Not because you're dominant. You don't look dominant. Freaking Disarmor. All the time they had Shayna Baszler pushed over the win as a huge ass kicker in the Elimination Chamber, literally eliminating everybody. Even Asuka. To earn a shot for the women's title. For WrestleMania. And she just loses in the most pathetic way possible. What part of that screams like Becky is the top star? And she survived it. I thought they were going to do a rematch at like Money in the Bank or something. But then she got pregnant. Somehow. By Seth Rollins, obviously. But you get my point. I just feel no appeal to Becky Lynch other than I know that she's trying to rip off a Stone Cold Steve Austin. And her gimmick was already a tomboyish steampunk bland gimmick and the rest was river dancing. What part of that screams like I'm getting over this character? She seems like a nice woman, yes, but other than that, I don't really care. Sasha, Sasha Banks, it's just that she's some quarterly related to the Snoop Dogg, has inspiration from Eddie Guerrero, and she had that great match at Takeover Brooklyn with Becky Lynch, but really nothing's going over that. And we know she's a 3-time women's champion in under a year, in under a month. In just under 5 months, she's already a multi-time women's champion. What part of prestige is that? Keep winning them willy-nilly, they lack prestige. I'd rather see the Divas Championship back on television. It must be. I know this must be hard if you're a huge stan of these women. There's already weirdos on Twitter that I saw have their own fan link accounts for people like Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Sasha Banks, Bayley, hell, even Nia Jax. Some even threaten to even take down, report my channel, all because I dislike her way that she's reckless in the ring. It seems like she has no respect for the business, and it's obvious she has no way of getting better. That doesn't make me a dick. That makes me concerned for the other women that are getting hurt. I don't get that. I don't get that mentality. And and the more of you guys that keep masturbating to women that when they take off their makeup looks like a complete five, and they don't seem to care about you in general. What's the point of making these fan accounts? Nobody else is watching. What are you masturbating to? I don't know what's the point of this. Why do you have fan accounts for female pro wrestlers, and why do you pretend to be females for this shit? It's awkward. It's completely cringe, and that's why I don't bother with wrestling Twitter, because you guys have the most retarded takes I've seen in a minute. I I have better chances getting in a complete conversation with a baseball fan. And I'm saying that not because I hate baseball. I'm not in baseball like that. So if anybody speaks like Jose Altuve got an ERB or RBT or BET, I'm not going to know because I don't follow baseball like that. So that's how it is for baseball. But when it comes to a person trying to dick ride on female wrestling, they know that they really don't care about the product, and they just want to masturbate to women that look like they just graduated from high school, and they sexually assaulted some nerd. That's what all of them look like. Don't you dare try to comment me. And I notice that you have freaking Nikki Cross fan account on Twitter. I will find it and I will roast you. That's going to happen. This is just a joke. And if you think that this Four Horsewomen actually impacted the WWE, the best they have done was at least made female pro wrestling taken a bit more seriously than just make them do karaoke, dance competitions and shit, and all this BS be forcible eye candy to have 2 minute dollar store matches that were bathroom breaks. Now they're just 30-minute like 20-minute bathroom breaks with no consensus on telling a story. Other than they're women, they're strong, they're powerful. Nia Jax is strong, but break Kairi Sane's neck and nearly shorten her career. And we have Charlotte Flair that looks like a she-male, but Andrade likes dudes and women like that. And of course, Becky Lynch is cool. Really, not that much of an interesting thing about her, other than she wears the man. Oh, right, she's dating one of her top guys. I mean, marrying her top guys. And of course, Sasha Banks dates a guy, marries a guy twice, like double her age, and Bayley just looks ugly as hell. I don't know why she is still here. Why is she still here? Oh, because her ass is a bit big whenever she wears wrestling pants. So that's pretty much it. Jeez. I mean, this I understand for some male or female viewers that are a fan of these women. I can guess they have pretty compelling matches. Some of them are fast paced, pretty entertaining, but that's like at least twice or at least 3 times over like a span of a calendar year. And most of them barely either tell a story or they're not even trying to get the other guy over, even though they're supposed to be one of the most cornerstones for the women's division for the last half a decade. And nothing's really been helping. You had 2 female main events for Monday Night Raw. Record-breaking drops of televised ratings. Is that because of the pandemic? Because if it is, that leaves some people at home sitting down that ever have cable or legal streaming or other bullshit like that to watch Monday Night Raw should be able to watch it. That's no excuse. So you're debunked in that behalf. Just no one cares about the Four Horsewomen. and they have done nothing to improve the women's division. It's a fact like that. I'm sorry. That sounds mean, but that's my opinion. If you have something to oppose that, please comment down in the comment section. I will be always there to read them. I like hearing other people's opinion. It strikes up more of a conversation. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching the EST show.